Hello again, my name is John and I am a nobody. It's been raining a lot outside, so I thought I'd introduce some sunshine for this one. And we are off across the Atlantic Ocean to see the Pacific Ocean, and this is the introduction to the story. Like many Brits, I'm fascinated by the United States, and when I was supposed to go there with Nikki on tour, I was very excited. Unfortunately, my kneecap decided to go independent and separate from the body, which led to a 6-hour operation. I've done a story on it somewhere, I think. So this is also about the power of dreams, because I used to dream a lot about the US. I could always see it in the distance, but I could never touch it. Or I'd be at an airport, but was not allowed to leave. It was only after I'd actually been and got back safely that I stopped these dreams. The dreams just stopped, and that was a wonderful thing. I would like to thank my friend Rob Upwood for taking me to the States, because it was an amazing experience which turned into a road trip and the fulfillment of a dream. I didn't go there to see the Grand Canyon. I didn't go to see Disneyland. I went to see a small town in Kansas, which was my personal Mecca. And I did. I stood at the crossroads which was where I wanted to go. I managed that all through him. And it started, strangely enough, in England, in Blighty on the south coast, in a pub called the Dolphin, and we were just talking. We were both aspiring writers. More on that subject later. Spoiler alert, don't do it. So we were chatting about this place I wanted to go in Kansas, the small town. And he said, well, why don't we go? I'll take you there. And much to my amazement, he did. He was older than I was, and I don't have a driving license, but he did, and he did all the driving, and we had an amazing time. We went, one of the first main cities we went to, we had to fly across the Atlantic, across the United States, land at San Francisco airport. The plane banked over. It was a sunny day, unlike today. And we banked over the bay. So I saw the Golden Gate Bridge and the whole Bay Area. It was just wonderful. We got to the airport, and unfortunately they were on a go slow, the immigration officials. So rather than, be swiftly sent through, it took hours, and we had to wait, and 2 separate lines, of course, because I'd never been before, but Rob had. And when I finally got through and Rob finally got his bag, we went to the desk to get our flight, and the woman said, well, I'm sorry, there's only one place on the plane. To us, this was appalling news, being Europeans. To her, it was like nothing. It was like, well, what's the problem? Just get the next plane. It's like, you missed the bus, well, get the next bus, So it was decided that I would take the first flight, and Rob would join me later. The funny thing was he had promised my wife that he would keep a close eye on me. We'd only been in the United States a matter of hours, and he'd lost me already. So off I went on a flight to Seattle, which was at that time before the mostly peaceful riots. A nice place to visit, but more of that on the continuation of the story. I don't want to make this one too long. So I went this week, this is another subject, I went this week to take my bass in. I'm sure there will be many comments asking, where is your bass, where is your bass? But I took it down to the shop, and the comment sections will be, of course, filled with those questions. Just joking. And I took it in, and the young man behind the counter had a look at it. I explained the problem with the electronics. And the irony was he was like half as old as the bass, which is how time flies, another example of how time flies. So if you're wondering where it is, it's in the shop still. Well, I hope you enjoyed this brief one, and it's just an introduction to my trip to the States, but I will be going into more detail later. So take care of yourself and those you love, and hope to see you in the next one. See you then, and Tchaikovsky. Take care.